people you may know, idols, and Amy finally gets her head examined. All this and more on today's Brilliant Observations. Do. Hi, Amy.
Well, hello, Dolly. What's going on, Melissa?
Okay. No. You don't get to turn these tables right out of the gate.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yes, thank you for all the copious feedback. I'm still here. Shirley MacLaine, I'm still here. Yes. So
Shirley MacLaine's dead, isn't she?
no, she did that in a movie once. So and
I know.
these people are all too young to even know or care who Shirley is. Love you, Cheryl. Okay, so
Love you, Cheryl.
let's back up. The mastoiditis, like all terrorists, has not won. Mastoiditis does not win. It does not define me or control me.
Is that what you have?
I have not even been diagnosed with it yet. So no.
No, there's a self-diagnosis about which we all...
The reality is, like almost every condition I have, mastoiditis is a condition of exclusion. So you rule out every other thing, and then you definitively say, oh, okay, this is what this is. I see, right? It's this, it could be this or this or this, because they all mirror symptoms until you get something like a head CT, which, yes, I am scheduled to have. So after speaking with you on a Sunday, on Monday, I had my urgent appointment with my regular guy.
You didn't just speak to me. Well, wait, back up one iota. Nope, that's not the right form of measurement. 1 segundo. 1 second? Yeah, sure.
Pick some more units of time. Back up one grain of universal sand. Yes.
So you
like
didn't
sands
just
through the hourglass. These are the brains of Amy's mind. What? Go, talk.
You didn't just speak to me.
Yes, but I spoke to not you after this, so I was trying to load it up. But you tell me who I spoke to. I want to know.
Right.
Yes.
So we talked, and I said it's a bug bite. That's my go-to.
Yes. And Melissa,
it's a spider bite. It's a bug bite.
Dear listener, perhaps you've met our friend Melissa, and on a rapid flash round answer session. Let's go. It's going to be the quick hurry up round. Does Melissa leave things alone? Yes or no?
No.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Never.
She doesn't leave things alone. So immediately after clicking stop record, publish, yay! Hi, Miss Stewart. I'd like to talk to you about your brain.
Yes, the speech impediment's back.
Yes, Dr. Fancy Pants immediately hopped to the case and gave me a long distance telesecond opinion. A hella telesecond opinion.
Second opinion only to my first opinion, which was it's a bug bite.
Oh, sorry. Okay. And he did actually triple down on that. He was in quiet.
Did he?
Yes. He immediately, I thought you prompted him. This was his whole big thing. First of all, let me just give a quick medical roundup for them. And then I will come back and tell you all about the Stewart because it's hilarious. Okay. As you may know. So Monday, as I already had scheduled, I went. First thing, well, it wasn't scheduled. I called first thing and said, I've got to get in to see this guy. Okay. They let me in, made a quick change-o to get in and see the general practitioner. He did all the look in the ear, do the thing, whatever, immediately go on antibiotics. I'm not going to order anything else. We're going to give it 24 hours. And if the antibiotics really make a big difference, great. And if they don't, head CT and referral to an ear, nose, and throat doctor. Okay. 24 hours go by. I didn't feel like it was really improved, but I didn't call because that's how I behave. So then it was almost 2 full days after, and it was beginning to improve slightly. And so I did that. We have an e-chart. So I contacted him via the e-chart and said, here's what I know. Here's what I see. And he goes, okay, I've ordered everything. Now the system, the train is moving, right? So if all these people can't get you in quickly enough, you might need to go to, he called it, cone urgent care. Which I thought, our hospital system must have like a doc in the box. Yeah, cone urgent care is what a physician would call the emergency department. So,
okay.
yeah, so it's like, really? So that was the only reason that I really entertained anything at length with your husband, because he just happened to pop up and send a text. Hello, how are you? What's going on? Brain, check, brain, check. So I said, well, here's the thing, Doc. Based on the e-chart, it is really frustrating for me to have to go through the 18 levels of phone hell to get to somebody who can finally say what I meant to say was. I mean, it was not definitive. Everything in the e-chart was, you make the call. Well, I don't like those football games. You're the fucking ump, whatever. So that's why I came to you. Make the decision. So I laid it all out to your hubs. And what would he say? What did he say, of course? What did he say?
Could it be a spider bite?
He immediately said, go to the emergency department. Because what is he?
Oh.
What is he?
He's an emergency physician.
Right.
Well, the other thing is,
he thought it was an iguana. He thought it was an iguana bite. I said,
why
really?
Did
you think it was a tarantula bite? Yes. Okay. Anyway, I've not been bitten by smitten or anything. So people come to him in the emergency department.
No, I mean, people call him. We've talked about this with things that he can't possibly have an opinion on unless he sees you.
Yes.
And
this is one. Yes. Okay.
For example, or things that he's not, I'm not going to say not qualified, because he can do anything except for
we've heard
veterinary medicine.
Nope. We've heard he's qualified. We've listened to this podcast.
Small children.
We already know there are no guideposts. It's just an ever-expanding Stewart, and we're all sick of it and grateful.
So somebody sent him a text the other day with a picture of her daughter's toes in it and said, what? Are these COVID toes?
See, that's why I'm never, ever going to call your husband for any reason.
But
I won't ask him to pass the fucking salt. It's too much. Let him relax.
But it's not. But how would he know if they're COVID
Who would
toes?
Do this
like what?
Shit. Who would
go
do
to
this?
a podiatrist?
Thank
Don't
you.
go to a.
Thank
what's
you.
the? But something's wrong with my head, brain. Like that's one you can take to the emergency department.
Let's do a quick sidebar, and then we're going to come back to Stuart.
That ain't COVID toes.
My favorite place. So, the night before I spoke to Stuart.
Is your favorite place the sidebar?
Anything with a bar, baby.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay. So, the night before, I'm picking up my child from lacrosse practice at school, and there's our friend, Joe, and he's trying to figure out how to get on Facebook, and that whole thing is an entire podcast in itself. Regardless, after about 18, first of all, I got to just break it down for you real quick. So Joe is standing on you can't go near any of these kids on the field, right? So he's there. He doesn't usually pick up. His wife usually is the picker-upper. He's there, and he's holding the phone up, and he goes, hey, he's from Brooklyn originally. Can you see this? Can you say, do this? Hey, and we can't stand close enough together. So he's yelling at me, right? And holding the thing up. And he doesn't really look like a savvy person at this point. So he's like, if I press play, does that mean it's on Facebook? Like, that's the level. And he goes, I don't have an account. Can I put it on Facebook? I'm like, Joe, stop. Stop. And he goes, do this. Call my wife. So I put all the windows.
Oh my God.
I put the windows down. I call Chris. She's on the phone going, Joe, hang up. You're embarrassing yourself. So I'm just laughing and loving it, right? Because it's the best way to spend. Why do they take so long to get off the field? So I'm sitting there doing all this to entertain myself while also thinking, I got a brain aneurysm. I'm going to die. Should I be driving? Like, that's what I'm thinking, right? Just stuff that down.
Aww.
Stuff it down. Talk about Facebook, right? So when he's all done, I left out the part that he's Dr. Joe Carbone, right? So he's standing there in his scrubs. So he does all this shit, and I've helped him significantly. I've set up a Facebook account for him. I changed his profile picture. I showed him how to do Facebook Live. I talked to his wife. I talked down his wife. I hung up on his wife. I got him happy. They were all settled. I got his son's uniform that his son left in the field house. All these things were accomplished. And I thought, after that level of engagement with my actual friend who I've socialized with, that's when I can say, hey, Joe, look, I got a my chart. Can you read it? And he's like, yeah. So he comes over and he reads the two sentences that have caused me confusion. And he goes, yeah, I would go to the emergency department.
Nice.
And I was like, come on. And he goes, well, first of all, I don't understand. I'm a urologist. I don't know mastoiditis. He's actually like world class. But anyway, I was like, I know all that. I'm not asking for a diagnosis. I'm just trying to say. He goes, here's what you do. Call the office tomorrow, because this was after hours. Call the office tomorrow. Tell them that you want all of these appointments. And then after they're booked, tell them that you want them sooner. And then make them do that work. And I looked at him and he goes, it's health. Pain in the ass. And then he walked away. So I was like, that's a that's because his people will move heaven and earth for anyone at any time. So he's used to, I don't care what the answer is. The answer is faster and now. So I was like, okay. So I thought I would try that. But
when my husband told me you had an appointment that was, I don't know, 5 days away, he said, can we, and I'm like, yeah, do it right now. So he's like, I can make an appointment and have you in this afternoon. Like however long it takes you to get here is how long it takes you to get seen. Because like your friend Joe, you move heaven and earth to have your people seen.
Well, here's the difference. Here's the difference.
And I don't think that's how healthcare should be.
I agree. And I don't think
I know someone who can get me. I don't think that's appropriate.
I'm leaving out the very critical part that a lot of people at home are probably going, why didn't you? The very critical part is I can get a CT in 20 minutes if I get in the car and drive over and say, hi, here's this thing I have. And they'll go, oh, you need a CT. Let's do it right now. The reason I don't do that is that would cost me $2,000 at the emergency room. And so that's the only reason that I'm not doing this thing. I'm following the rules to have it.
So it's who you know and how much money you have is what healthcare is.
Well, to have it, and it's not like it's going to be free. It's just a regular office visit that was scheduled. So I have that on Tuesday is scheduled for
with insurance,
my head CT. So then the only thing that I'm saving is I don't pay for the emergent care. I don't pay for the ER doc. I don't pay for all those other services are gone, but I'm still going to have to pay for the head CT. And that's probably going to be $1,000 anyway. Who knows what my insurance will cover? I haven't even looked.
Right.
So, but the bottom line is I'm keeping it. I could cancel this appointment. I've been now, it was Wednesday night, Thursday morning when all this happened, right? So I spoke to you. So this is 2 Sundays from that. The first Sunday was after that first Wednesday, right? So I'm just giving you a timeline. So it's going to be 2 weeks until I get the head CT will be 2 weeks after first incident, whatever evidence.
Inception.
Thank you. And then, according to the appointments, I see the ENT on the 17th. So it's another whatever today is. I haven't even looked to see what the. Yeah. So it's another almost. Well, it's 2 full work weeks. Yeah. So, and I'm not here.
Good thing I'm not, bleeding out my mouth and ear right now.
It continues to improve with the course of treatment that I was given. I'm going to have the head CT, and if something's wrong on that thing, people are going to start acting like Keystone Cops in a finger snap, and everything will shift into focus. And guess what? If there is nothing wrong on it, I'm going to keep the ENT appointment, and I'm going to say, now you've got a head scan. Now you've got a history. And P.S., all this other stuff that I haven't told anybody that maybe is relevant, I'm going to tell you, specialist, and see what you have to say. So I'm doing it in the order in which it was received, and it will all be fine, right?
Your call will be taken.
Well, and because the other part of it continues to improve every day. If it was getting worse every day, just for the sake of people hearing my voice, if it was getting worse every day, if I was really scared, my husband has told me from the beginning, I don't want to spend the money, but that's not the issue here. Go. And I kept saying, I just don't think I need to go. I'm not a person who will refuse care. I'm not frightened of going. I'm just trying to make on balance, trying to make a fair decision. And I wish that the doctor had taken a more active role. But frankly, he's making the same decision that I'm making. So I don't know why I'm hung up on it. It just a wait and see. Here's the funny thing about meeting with Stuart. He immediately asked a couple of questions. I answered those questions. That led to within probably 2 minutes, he had sent me a list of like every functioning CT scanner in like the tri-state area, all their phone numbers, what to do to call, how to tell them it's urgent. And I did that for 2 days. They don't have a waiting list. It's just people cancel. And if you're there. So I was like, okay, with COVID, you basically go sit there and wait to get in. If I'm doing that, go to the emergency room, right? Anyway, his point was go to the emergency room, go to the emergency room. Here's what I told my husband when I was done with that delightful and very loving and super grateful consult from your husband. I said it was like talking to somebody from fucking Apple. Have you ever back in the day,
we call Apple for 48 hours.
You do the phone consult with Apple, and they talk you through what the problem is, and they ask you a question, and it's if then. Okay, so that question leads to this answer, which then leads to these 3 scenarios, which leads to that answer. And if you follow that thread all the way down to the end, it always ends with the problem is solved, or we reboot and wipe your computer. Like, that's it. They don't stop until everything is disasterized, right? It's a scorched earth policy. And I know this. That is their written policy. We're going to get you to a point where we're going to fix the problem or we're going to restart everything. And I'm like, I don't
And you're
going to
lose everything.
Right. And I had that feeling that as an emergency care doctor, let's wait and see is not part of his brain. Like he was sort of the thing preventing you from taking your care to the next definitive level is a very expensive scan. So get the scan. Like that, he was like, you need the scan, you need the scan, you need the scan. Instead of,
well, if you can't see what the problem is, if you can't physically see the images, it's guesswork.
Indeed, but my other point to you is the treatment for the very scary thing that I might actually have is high dose of antibiotics. I'm currently on a course of treatment that is high dose antibiotics. It's not as high, but it's high. So I'm doing like a baby step treatment for the only thing they would do is change my antibiotics to something stronger and an IV. And they can still do that next week if it's needed. So, and it's getting better every day with I don't know. Anyway,
the other thing I like about having him as a consultant is I think when things happen to you, any individual, it feels like it's worse than anything else. So he's my gauge of, is this appropriate, right? Is it appropriate to go to the doctor for this?
And that was my decision-making process. Yes, go. Yes.
I am a wait and see kind of girl. When I used to take my kids to the pediatrician for, I better knock on wood for all this shit. I knocked on my forehead.
It's a cute top, by the way. She's got stars all down her shirt.
I would wait to see. You know, when I go in there, I think everybody goes into the pediatrician for a prescription for antibiotics. I am not that mom. I want this to heal up on its own because I've seen people get an infection in very bad places that cannot be fought because they've been I just want an antibiotic. I just want an antibiotic. So you can't, you've developed resistant strains of shit you can't fight. I don't want that. I want my kids to not have, I want them to be able to fight their own illnesses. So I would get prescriptions from pediatricians. They'd say, do you want an antibiotic? And I would say, do they need it?
Yeah, like, if you're why are you asking? That's how I felt the situation I was in.
Okay.
If you think it's urgent, go to the emergency room. And I'm like, why do you think I'm in your fucking office? So it wasn't quite that, but I get it. Do you think you need an antibiotic? And the only answer to that I would say is yes, and I would get it filled and stick it in a drawer. So
that's what I did for my children for years. I have tons of those. But for Stuart, is this emergency department appropriate? Like when I leave after you do whatever, are you going to be like, what is with that? She just has too much money. She just wanted to come here, pay the copay. Like this is something that was clearly not emergency department like relevant. So I've had a cough for the past 3 weeks. Okay, what brings you to a place of emergency? Do you see those flashing lights in the parking lot?
Right. What have you tried at home before this?
Do you see that man with the X over his eyes being pulled in on a stretcher?
Did you try pain, panic, car ride? Or did you try?
Like, I just want to know, is this ED appropriate?
Yes.
Like, is this even, because in my head, I don't know what it is. I didn't go to med school. But if you say, yo, Tylenol, Motrin, give it 2 days or give it 24 hours, whatever it is, it gives you, remember you talked about the see, I told you something's wrong with me kind of feeling?
Yep.
Well, talking to him gives me he's like, yeah, I've seen people in the ED with this. I'm like, well, for me, it's my back every day. It's my back.
Yes.
So I say, well, I got this. So I looked at the scan. I am 14 months into back pain, right? 14 months into working it out on my own. I mean, soon comes a time where I'm going to say,
it ain't worked.
Maybe I should see a specialist. But when you have something in your head, I think that's appropriate. So having him talk to you and say, go to the emergency department is not such a ridiculous concept.
Well, I've been watching Grey's Anatomy fucking nonstop.
What season are you up to?
15.
Wow.
I've watched every single episode, and I'm on track to be done in the next week. I've watched them all. The kids are in it with me now. And here's what's really interesting about that. Okay? Twice now, they have pulled out rare diseases that we fucking have in our house. I couldn't even believe it. They had one on there. My oldest, the woman comes in and
young black
dislocates
girl
her shoulder. And they're like,
They
oh,
thought
you
she was
have
an alcoholic.
You have yeah, they thought she was an alcoholic. And she's like, no, it's just, I don't know what it is. And they just diagnosed her with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And I'm like, that's what my fucking kid has.
I get nothing for knowing that it was the girl they thought was an alcoholic.
Sorry, that was very, very good. I forget
nothing.
I forget that I'm watching these things, pounding them in like so many shots at the bar. Yes, that is very impressive.
How many years later?
That was season 13. Very good for you.
So it's kind of recent-ish.
Not that recent. It's very odd to see your conditions crop up on there and to learn something.
Dear listener, do you have issues that you're putting off going to the doctor about? Do you have issues that you take to the doctor every 10 minutes and they're sick of hearing from you? Is there a happy medium? I might ask my husband to do his own podcast where you could just call in and say, is this emergency department worthy?
Welcome to Stuart.
Am I worthy?
Yes.
Is going to be the name of the podcast. ED worthy.
Oh,
that could be erectile dysfunction. That's not good. ED worthy.
No, come on. Everybody knows this Dr. Stewart.
My favorite time of the week, and I don't really wait for shows, although I did watch WandaVision start to finish.
Yes, I haven't started. And you say endorse?
I endorse. I endorse because it moves the story along. And if you want to pick up on the next one, you kind of need to. I liked it. I'm not a fan of the fact that fanatics, like crazy Marvel universe people,
me, yeah,
feel like they know more than everyone. They want to talk about it for ad nauseum. They just can't. And did you see? Like, could you just let me enjoy a show, and marinate in it, and walk away? Not make 1,000 TikToks about, well, you're not smart enough to have caught this
about
or
Rocco. Yes, it's awful.
Could you just shut the fuck up? I enjoyed it. You want to talk about enjoying it? I'll talk about that with you. You want to talk about what I didn't catch or what I didn't see? I mean, I'll even watch it again with you, and you could do that. But to sit when I'm out of the universe doing other things in life and just harp the fuck on it,
yeah,
makes me dizzy. Like it makes me dizzy. And I think that's very much generational. Like, you don't see me saying to you, what about the episode of Grey's Anatomy where, and I can tear that shit apart because I could tell you 11 times I cried during that course of that show, Grey's Anatomy. And I could tell you every episode. I could tell you, I just can't. But why would I? Like, let it go. Move on. There are other great things. I'm going to watch it again.
Well. I don't think Grey's is the appropriate analogy for this. What did we have generationally that had that backstory, that mythic, epic of legend?
Well, we had Marvel also. The fact that they think it's theirs when it was ours and we're letting them in is infuriating to me. We had Marvel. That's our fucking...
Yeah. It's similar to like Star Wars people who kind of go off the edge. And then they're floating in their own nerdverse and they just can't come back.
And their ringer is the Cantina song, and they're but still. So Mallory loves my daughter. My daughter absolutely loves Star Wars. Yeah. She loves Star Wars, and I said,
"Well, there's Harry Potter people who act this way too." Now that you
she loves
your
Harry
daughter.
Potter too.
Now that you mentioned your daughter, yeah. Blah, blah, blah.
But I said, "Did you finish The Mandalorian?" And I was so excited because, spoiler alert, there's something at the end of Mandalorian that is amazing, right? It's just fucking amazing.
Yes.
And it's Star Wars 100. Like, it's just 1,000% boner Star Wars amazingness.
Yes, I love 100%
like,
boner.
No, I didn't see Mandalorian. I didn't see the end of it. I'm like,
with her?
How could you call yourself a fan?
Thank you.
And not do so to be so crazy and so electrified about one thing and to just let you have zero credibility with me now because you didn't follow through with something that you claim to just fucking love.
Zero cred. That's harsh, Mama.
All right,
keep it
40% credibility.
No. Stay harsh. I love it.
Zero credibility. Fuck you. But I was watching, and here I do again. I was watching American Idol.
Yeah?
because I think it's somewhat funny. It's a lot more caring than it used to be. Mockery of people with horrible voices.
And isn't Howard on there? I know that my husband is a huge Howard Stern fan. So for a while he was a judge, but he's not now.
No, he did America's Got Talent.
Oh, so I have it wrong. Totally. Okay,
American Idol is the singing one.
Idol. No, yeah, I mean they're all the same, but okay.
And well, I don't like people shoving knives in their throats and things like that. Just sing to me. Like I just prefer not the I have been pierced everywhere and I could be hung by these piercings and not feel like I don't like any of that
show. I don't
Well, that's America's Got Talent. The people consider those talents, and that makes me
I thought that was like X Bug, Eat a Bug. We're not going to talk about them because they're all gross. Tell me about American Idol. I thought they were all singing shows or dancing. But okay.
Well, you can sing, but they just bring other stuff on that I can't. But I do watch American Idol because I love music. And there is a judge on there that also gives me a toner, a musical boner.
Which one is he?
It's Lionel Ritchie.
What?
I know.
Hello?
Lionel. This is his second year, I think. He is. I think he's fantastic to start with.
Is he like Billy D. Williams smooth? Is that what it is? Does he have the Kavorka?
His talent, his heart, his kindness.
He's sitting there talking. You're not attracted to the look of him? Why are you making big?
I don't know. I'm attracted to who he is. Like
I was going to say, because the look would be an interesting pivot for me. That wouldn't be my first one, but I guess I got to start looking at him a lot now.
I don't know that you should look at him.
It's the hair. I'm just going to say it. I don't really like the hair.
It's the way it's the way he interacts with and understands talent and struggle and people and a universal. I don't know this.
He still got that
connection.
silky voice.
He is still very silky. He is wild. It's kind of like when Ben Folds was a judge on one of the dumbest shows ever.
I'm a huge Ben Folds fan. Love Ben Folds. He's a little twerpy, little nerdy twerp, but there's something about him where you're like, all right, I could.
Yes.
You could get it.
But
you have no reason to fucking get it, but based on your whole deal, you could get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ben Folds is wildly talented, like ridiculous, and it gives credibility to a show that was so dumb to start with.
Oh,
and you're like, oh, okay, I'll watch your show because Ben Folds honestly gave it enough credibility just being there, right? So he took I guess it was a cappella, and we have a soft spot for that. But so I watched that show. I'm like, what did you think, Ben? I don't care what these dumb fucks thought. Like, what did you think, Ben? So I kind of feel that way about Lionel Ritchie too. The same way I worship Paul Simon.
Yes.
But I can't look at him and think, I want him inside of me. Like, that is not at all how I feel about him.
No.
But his talent and the package of why he is, to me, he is music. He is creative. He is just, right. So I'm watching American Idol and I look at Lionel Ritchie and I think, you are too good for this. What are you doing here? And the kids who come on to audition, all of their parents say, oh yeah, the Commodores and Lionel Ritchie was what did it for me in life. It brought me out of low spots. It inspired greatness. I grew up listening to you. Nobody's growing up listening to Katy Perry that is going to be inspired by her. You kissed a girl and you're a firework. Like, I don't know how I think she's fun and she's a great summer listen but she's stop. And the other Luke, somebody, country, okay, so you could twang with the rest. Lionel Ritchie is like a god.
I would say Dave and Friends, Dave Grohl, Foo Fighters. I would put him in the category of generationally inspirational. He's at that
wildly
level.
Talented.
He's at that level. He transcends.
You're like the drummer. Well, he plays guitar also, and he sings, and he's been doing this for 40 years. Like, yeah, he's done. Well, because the kids on TikTok know him,
right,
from drumming with that young girl and having that. I'm like, no, he's not the drummer. Like, he can drum, and he's amazing at it.
Yeah, but you can call him a drummer of fucking Nirvana. Let's start there, okay? I mean, he's whatever you want, guys.
He's another one.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
So no.
I'm just trying to say, Lionel. We're talking about Lionel Ritchie and the transcendent power of somebody who really helped to define a musical decade. I would say point in time, if not that.
I would say
stays
half
with you.
a century. Like
Yeah,
he's been doing this for a very long time. And like my kids know some of his music. They might not realize it's Lionel Ritchie.
Right.
But when they come down on a Sunday morning and Mama's singing Easy Like Sunday Morning and it's whatever. It was a really something I look forward to every week. The way those fucking kids are looking forward to WandaVision. Like,
so
how
does seeing him deepen or cheapen the relationship you already have with him?
I loved the music. I loved the artist, and I think it deepens my relationship with him because I see his humanity more now. I see that, you know, somebody where a Simon Cowell would have been like, you are not all you think you are, and made like a game showy about it. He is a humanitarian. He's a human deep, and he sees people and their talent and like he's just A+. Check.
Well,
plus.
is he behaving like a producer? Like he's sitting there listening and saying, "Let me help you get better," or is he a critic?
Yes.
Or is he a father?
Both.
Or is he an audience
Both,
member?
all three.
Oh.
No. Here's what I hear. Here's what you can do with what you have. You might not even realize the talent you have. And to somebody else, he might say, your story moves me and here's my cell phone number. Call me if you need to talk, but you are not going through on this competition.
Right.
This isn't for you. What's for you is, and this is how you can like he's
Let
a mentor.
me help you gracefully end and exit.
Get the fuck out of the room. Right? Don't touch the golden
We're so
ticket.
glad you came. Yeah.
I feel like, and what I really do like about that show now, which I've never liked, I've tolerated, is that the other two judges kind of see that too. And
are they trying to be better judges? Maybe he's elevating them,
and they'll sing one of his songs, and they'll be like, "This man started this job. You know what? You want this guy." And it's nice. It's really nice. I mean, I fast forward through half the shit, but when it comes to the judges and the good stuff, I'm a big fan of Lionel Ritchie. So there it is, bitches. You got something to say about my musical idols? You heard Ben Folds. You heard Paul Simon. You heard Lionel Ritchie. You heard even Dave Grohl. Bring it.
There's nobody in that list that deserves any kind of criticism at all. Full stop. I just love hearing that this show that started out as not really a musical show, it was kind of high school popularity contest plus celebrities, okay. So that is great. That could be entertaining.
It's still on,
that's very
it's
poppy.
Deeper.
Yeah.
I love him.
Now it sounds like this is what Star Search envisioned itself to be and never became, which is actually a proving ground for people who have something. And let's see if this can get them to this is the Groundlings, which is where you go, to try to make it on comedy. SNL. Yeah. So
yeah.
I love seeing that it's a proving ground that actually proves something like that. I
wonder what the ratings are like. I wonder how the ratings are besides in my house. I wonder.
I don't know.
I don't either. I'm going to look that up. Speaking of ratings.
Oh God. Did we get rated somehow? Say no.
No.
Fucking 5 stars. Rate us 5 stars.
No, I don't.
Rate us 5 stars. Go to your favorite podcast thing. Scroll down to the bottom. Find the thing that has stars on it, and take your finger and drag it all the way across the stars until they're all colored in. And now you've rated
all the way
5
across.
stars. 5 stars. What do you got to lose? You're listening anyway.
Can you do that on Facebook too, where we are Brilliant Observations or Brillub Squad, or could you do that on Instagram where we're Listen Brilliant, or where else? Twitter, Listen Brilliant. We're not really that active on Twitter. You can go to Patreon and show us how active you would like to be.
We have spits and farts on
Let
Twitter.
Give us some love there.
So why are you focused on ratings? Well, why are you focused on ratings?
I'm not. It's more like it's kind of like the math of figuring it out. And I want you to know when the kids switched to new math.
Oh God.
And I didn't really understand how they did some of their shit, or my brain was like, I'll do it my way. You do it your way. We'll all get the answer.
I mean,
and
you
that's
lost
the
me
goal.
at old math. Yeah, there's no.
I was pretty good at math when I was younger.
Nope.
Well,
I appreciate math. I have a nice respect for it, and it's not for me. I associate.
It's also good to know.
I associate with lots of experts. I have things like a calculator. I have a computer. I have reference material, and I have other people who answer questions. So
you have stuff at which you excel.
Exactly.
You don't need to be made to feel shitty because math isn't
I'm not
one
the
of them.
Mathepedia. I don't have to have all the answers. I don't have to add things together. I mean, someone else can do that for me.
One day, my daughter was getting frustrated with this math, whatever she was doing. It was a while ago. And I said, look, if you're not going to have a career in math, you need to get through this, right?
And
but
forget
you don't need
it. Yeah.
to make it your life. I said, the important math you need to know is sale math. Something mommy calls sale math. So you're in a store.
They don't always put up that sign or give you the
Right.
tip calculator. Sometimes
Right.
you have to do it on your own.
Correct. Sale math, tip math. These are all maths
Tax math.
you need
sales
to
tax
know.
math. Yeah.
Yes. So it's really percentages. So that
They're
was a
important.
super easy thing to teach, super easy thing to maintain, retain, all of the tains. And then I realized recently there's another math that has crept into my life. It's really a percentage as well. It's you work out in the morning, shower, and right after the shower, choosing your clothes and what you put on your face gives you the percentage of opportunity that you're going to leave the house. Because if you go from like latex spandex pants from working out into sweatpants and a whole t-shirt with holes in it and no makeup on your face, there's a 0% chance that you are leaving the house today or letting any human see you.
Well, here's a wrinkle. This is a fascinating topic, completely accurate. Now, here we're going to do some derivative work.
Go ahead.
You have excellent boobs. We know this.
I do.
They're great. They're great. Okay. And congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so
They're
much.
real and they're spectacular. And I speak from firsthand assessment. Yes, I
You
do.
do.
Okay. So
By the way,
totally
I'm not
concur.
bragging too much. They're small, but they are.
They're not that small. And congratulations.
They're just
So
right.
here's the reality. And it's important that they're not that small. For the next thing I'm loading up. Do you wander around without a brassiere? If so, when and how many times in public? I can't physically because it's painful.
You cannot.
No, I can't even. A lot of times I even have to sleep in a bra. It's ridiculous. So, but I'm just saying for these little tiny titted people who just wander around, and I'm here to also tell you, I saw a woman in public who was not tiny titted and not brought up. And I thought, girl, what are you doing? It was unattractive and looked painful. I didn't get it. It didn't seem empowering. It just seemed like there's going to be a rash
She gave up?
underneath. And
She gave up?
It's just, I don't know. And they were like those sort of triangle tits where it comes down and like the nip sort of makes it pull up a little bit. That's kind of a fun shape. It's not the globe shape. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, the whole thing was too big just to be flapping around. And I thought, what happened? What happened? Back to yours. So do you walk
lady.
around without a brassiere?
So it's winter right now. So another
that
layer
mean?
feels nice to another layer feels nice to leave the house. But if I do leave the house, all right.
That's
well,
a
this
yes.
is too much about my. This is the boob episode.
Okay,
it's
so let's
turning
just
into.
talk about the random person with perfect boobs. Would that
Right.
person go out of the house without a bra on?
I would be afraid for her that her nipples would be visible through clothing. But because it is winter, and that's not something you want to draw attention to the same way you don't really want to think about that woman that
What?
you saw whose tits were at her waist that wasn't
Nipples
wearing a bra.
Nipples are great. I'm saying it's painful. It's not. Pain is not a concern. I can't
Not
even
for me.
comprehend what
Yeah.
it would be like to walk around without a bra and not every second be going ow, 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 ow. Really?
Really? It's never been, ow has never, ever, ever, ever.
So when you're not wearing a bra, it's a choice because you're like, fuck you, I'm free. Feminism! Nipples. That's basically what you think
it's
when you take
because-
your shirt off.
It's the dresser is on the other side of the room and I'm already holding the t-shirt. So I'm not going to, I don't really need to wear a bra. Like everybody stands up, looks the right way and is doing the right thing.
I told
But
you, they're great.
But I wonder if that's because I've always worn a bra that they are.
Yeah,
that they are,
I'm told that it actually weakens your chest wall. So when
would they flop down if, so I'm going to keep up wearing a bra because it seems more than just a social convention that was, universally approved. But if I do go Well, the debate is you're in pajamas all day. Well, you don't wear a bra with pajamas, although you just said you sometimes do.
If I don't, I risk getting a rash. It's just the truth. So I got some very big boobs, and I got to keep them separated and powdered and all the rest of it. Got to keep them
separated.
I do. I got to.
So, do you think that song was written about your boobs?
No, I mean, men have nuts and testa-nuts. They know what this is.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I mean?
They get some chafing once they hit a certain age and they hang certain low.
You wouldn't walk around. You don't walk around with no underwear on. You get underwear that packages your package in such a way where you can move about your business and then everything's fine. That's all mine is for, right?
I knew people who did not wear underwear, and it was upsetting to me.
Why? Did they not wear it?
I don't.
Boy people?
Because they liked boy people. They like feeling free.
Free?
Wild and free.
Don't you get like scratches on your outside penis and your nuts? What song is that? Wild and free?
Happy as can be in America. What song is that?
I don't know. Is this a test I'm failing? I don't know.
Yeah, I used to sing it in the D sharps.
I did? No, I did not.
Tell me about A Tale of Two Omelets.
Oh, that's a hard pivot. Well...
Well, I don't know what it is, so I don't know how hard my pivot is.
Okay, so as you can see, my hair is dried and coiffured.
And beautiful.
Thank you. It's morning.
Like you rallied for me, but I know it's not for me.
It is for you, and I knew that I needed a fluff up shower dress, get ready, and had to do it early so I could be on time for our recording.
Early. You were early this morning.
Recording. Well, it takes a long time to dry my hair. I can't stand it when I don't. That's been my go-to for the past too many days with head hurting and whatever. And I just don't like the look of it. So I was like, I'm going to leave enough time, which I did, which meant I had to leave a lot of time. So I ended up early. In the process of drying my hair, probably 60% completed, in walks Paulie. Are you coming with us? He's going to lacrosse again. It's, every day is lacrosse. So I said, no, I'm not coming with you because I was awake and fluffing. He says, okay.
Can you cook for me?
Can you make me an omelet before I'm late? So had to leave the hair mid-dry, which is always risky business. It's risky.
It is.
It's risky for curly hair girlies when all I'm doing is straightening. So I went out and I made it, and I walk out and I say, how many omelets am I making? And my husband and my son go, 2. So I'm like, all right. So I start making all the omelets. I don't want to be late, so I'm moving quickly. Made the boys first, because the second one is always better. Leave that for the husband. I like a French omelet. I aspire to the French omelet. No one else likes a French omelet. They all like American omelets, which are classless. So I ended up...
You sound like my mother.
I ended up striving... Yeah,
omelette?
I started...
Oof.
With the little one... trying to very quickly make a French omelet, but I also was working with speed in omelets, maybe not the best. So anyway, I ended up with a perfect, pristine American style omelet, and I put it on the plate. And then the next omelet, I took a lot of time, and then ended up being a probably B+ proper French omelet, of which I was frankly impressed because they're difficult to make. I gave that to the husband, and they were all admiring the American omelet, and the little kid is looking and saying, let's go, and saying how great his was and mocking his dad about you got the shit omelet and all the rest of it. And I'm like, are you kidding? He's like, look at this. Yeah, throwing shit at each other. I mean, it's normal breakfast. So this
you got the shit omelet.
Right. So this is all happening. And I'm like, what is wrong with you little pedestrian losers that don't even understand what you're looking at? So, and you're probably sitting here thinking, what's the fucking difference between a French and an American omelet? And I maybe am making this up, but an American style omelet, the outside edge of the egg is browned from the butter. It's cooked so thoroughly that it has little bits of brown on it. It's not just egg colored. It's become a little bit brown, right? And this is 90% of the time the case because that's required to get it cooked thoroughly enough. Enough. Yep. It's still loose, but cooked enough, right? So that when you flip it over and get it on the plate, it's ready to go. And it has a giant mound in the center from the ingredients that are in there and the fluffiness of the eggs and all the rest of it. So it ends up looking not quite, but in an exaggerated visual, a little bit like a snake that's just eaten something, right? The two sides of it are a little thinner and the middle is kind of poofy and fat, and it's a cylinder. Okay. The French one is a consistent height it's like a roll, right? It's like a roll of perfectly cooked, nowhere brown, pristinely executed egg, right? With the ingredients rolled and folded in there so uniformly that the whole thing is not at all but picture the equal thickness of a cigar, right? So picture something that's been rolled onto a plate or closer to a blintz really, where the whole thing is this delightful, creamy, yellow, buttery egg, and then the cheese and the scallion and everything is melting together, and it's just all pristinely perfect color, and, sprinkle a little extra stuff on top, and there's no mounding in the middle, and there's no brown on the outside, and they're just like, but that one looks fluffy. I'm like, will you just fucking stop it?
Just eat it.
Lots of little red pepper flake, which is fresh, delicious. Anyway, so that is the tale of two omelets. I don't even fucking like omelets. I'm just here to say, have you ever had an interest or a fascination? And it's also creamier, the French style, because it's not, I feel like the American one is just overcooked. That's really what I think it is. But the whole rest of America, we're usually wrong. Can't be wrong.
We're always wrong. I don't know why you think that.
What are your thoughts on omelet? And I, in the past year, I've been in a hotel to see, or maybe who knows how long ago it was, to see somebody cook an omelet, and they cook it to death. So that it is this idea of
I don't like it to death.
Fully overcooked.
I don't like it to death. The way you describe it, I would probably like the French one better.
Right.
And my kids would too, because when Stuart's the one in our house who really makes omelets. We'll make cheesy eggs. This morning. He makes, this morning, Stuart actually, I came up from working out and he made cheesy eggs. I think he thought it was an omelet, but with baby portobello mushrooms, spinach, and American cheese.
I told you. He's
so good.
I told you.
It was so good.
He's so
Those
good.
baby Bellas make everything better.
They're good. I eat them just straight up out of the gross poop
dirty
stained tin.
Filthy. Yeah.
They're delicious.
I tried to do that, but then I wipe them off with a paper towel, and when I see all the dirt come off, I'm like, I can't put that in my mouth.
I mean, it is true, but God, that's so awful.
I can't put that right in my mouth with all that dirt.
It's not dirt. Yeah.
So I think I would like the fluffiness, because even when the kids look at what Stuart makes, they're like, why is it brown? The only brown I want on there is like the cheese that might have turned a little brown and crusty, which is I'm drooling now, is the best part of the omelet. So I like eggs in almost all forms. And my favorite way?
Go.
My favorite way is when somebody else makes it. So I don't really give a shit.
Prepared for me. So what's your policy on the yolk?
So when it's not a weekend, I don't eat the yolk.
Okay, I'm not sure what the time frame has to do with your taste buds.
No, taste buds. If I enjoy it, I enjoy the whole egg. But during the week, I try to only eat egg whites, and on the weekends, I celebrate food
life.
With
okay, so listen.
Life.
Let me talk to me about the yolk, though. Somebody's cooked you a perfect, just barely oozy goozy yolk. Or, I mean, you like the yolk in all of its forms, and it's gooey.
If you give me a fabulous piece of bread to dip in that yolk, I will fucking eat that yolk. Yeah, I'll eat the shit out of that yolk.
I'm not really a fan of the yolk.
Oh.
I eat it.
Soft,
because
hard, wet, gooey, sticky.
It's just the taste of it is kind of
just talking about egg yolks.
Yeah, you know it. You know it.
Just talking about egg yolks.
Lionel Ritchie can get it. All right, so I'm just trying to say,
Smooth
I
butter.
really wish that I liked desired egg yolks. I really wish that I desired seafood, but it's one of those things where I'm like, truth be told, I don't really want to eat it. I like it just enough for the texture and the flavor, but it's in many ways it's like coffee. I like the idea of coffee so much more than I like actual coffee. It's taken me a long time just to enjoy coffee with milk. In the beginning, it was milk and sugar and heat and warm and wake up and there's coffee in there. Yeah. I mean, so it's the egg yolk when it's gooey like that is really just there to add texture. When if the egg yolk sort of runs onto your hand or it's just on the fork and then you eat it plain, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody that likes egg yolk. That to me is not you're making the face that I make.
Yeah, I'd like a good crusty bread to clean up the plate. Like it's really the bread is what I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
The egg is just something that makes me feel like I'm not just in a doughy carb coma.
Okay.
Look, there's protein on this doughy carb. Like,
Anyway, I know from eggs. And here's the other thing. I recently went to Costco and broke down and bought the flat of eggs because I'm an Eggland's Best girl. I normally
pallet?
buy the
You mean the
pallet. I
pallet?
bought the
Yeah.
pallet of eggs because they were there, and I thought, you know what? For one,
You absolutely
we
will
can
use
get
them.
away with non-omega-3 eggs for one day. We'll just, and I needed eggs, and I was there, and I didn't want to make an 18th stop, so I just got them. So I opened up the pallet of eggs. I was making the omelets this morning. I opened up the spice cabinet, and I didn't have my glasses on, my eyeballs in, whatever. So I had distance vision only. The contacts that I'm wearing right now are for distance only because, see episode previous.
Right.
And I open up the cabinet and I stick my hand in the cabinet. And what do? That's right. I knock out the jar of organic red pepper flake from McCormick, which is glass, and it falls sideways onto my pallet of fucking eggs. And here's how good I am. So I was able to fish out the 6 eggs. I magically broke 6 eggs. The 6 eggs
Magically.
that
Like
I
I'm
cracked
gifted.
and broke. And I was able to fish them all out, pour their contents without shell into a thing, and come up with 2 fucking omelets.
Oh, good for you.
Ba-boom. Suck it, McCormick. You can't fuck my dick up. Bring it.
You tried to ruin me.
That's right. Organic my ass. Fuck you.
But it was your kid who ruined you by saying,
Oh, no. He's not
you got
at
a
fault.
shitty omelet. You got the shit omelet,
He's not
Daddy.
at fault. They don't know. They don't watch
They don't
what's
know.
happening. They don't know. They don't watch what's happening. They don't watch what's happening.
Building a boat.
Are you building a boat? We're building a
No.
boat over here.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Oh, it was just a phrase from Grey's Anatomy. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. I feel like I've even used that in my life. They were talking about, you're nodding. Does everybody know about building a boat? Or
Well,
you
I
just
know
know from
about it.
Grey's?
I know about it from Grace.
So half of this show is life and parenting advice, and the other half is artificial medical gore. So just, there you go. The one is the character is thrust into a all too rapid position of parenthood, motherhood, doesn't know what she's doing, flailing around, reaches out to an actual mother with lots of experience and says what. And that person looks at her and says, there's no way that you can do everything that's needed here. What we like to think of this is you need to think you're building a boat, because the whole idea is they are going to sail away from you at some point. So what you're building is a boat that will let them get where they're going and help them keep going. That's your whole deal. And it was like kind of an interesting way to put a spin on things when it's like, yeah, because it is what it is. And I've been thinking a lot about the Olive Garden lie and the Pop-Tart lie and all the lies. And I also was thinking a lot, just because it keeps ringing in my head, thinking a lot about our friend from Maine who is very well connected in her community and dealing with someone in her community who has loss. And so she's on my mind and in my heart every day. And I'm just thinking about her a lot. And I was reminded those 2 things were in my head simultaneously. And then click, they bumped into each other and made this new thought. I don't know if you ever heard this or if you remembered this, but our dear friend from Maine, her oldest daughter, at one point when she was out on her own living her life, had some unsuitable romantic attachment to someone. I don't even remember what the circumstance was, but there was some boyfriend in life that was not right. And our friend said to her, you cannot see that person. You must stop this. This is not going to work, right? And the daughter got so mad and broke it off and was still so mad, but stopped seeing the person and was furious and livid with our friend for forcing her to do something. And I will never forget, because our friend's kind of wily, right? And she found the whole thing fucking hilarious. Not heartbroken, not sad, not thrilled that she can, be this angry person and say, you're going to do my will. She thought it was hilarious that her daughter didn't realize that she was an adult and could fucking date whoever she wanted.
Why are you listening to me?
Right. So she was like, I can't. So she has no idea. I love that she still thinks I can control this for her. This is great. And so that's sort of the circumstance sort of stuck with me. And it's this notion of all of it wrapped up together in the building the boat and telling the Olive Garden, hey, they're getting to an age, your oldest, my middle, my oldest, they're at a point where we have absolutely no control over what they're doing, in the sense that even the rules that they know to follow, we can't possibly enforce them because they're out in the fucking world and they're just going to I can't stop you. I can't stop you. So now it becomes, what do you say at the Olive Garden moment? What do you say when maybe this was why it was in my mind. Rocco called me on the FaceTime. We talked quite a lot, actually. Calls me on the FaceTime and he says, "Ma, can I pierce my ears?" Because he's an idiot. And half the things he says to me, I'm sure just to get a rise out of me. So, I immediately give him the satisfaction of a huge to the moon Norton rise. No, you can't. Rah, what are you doing? And stop it and back away from the lobe. And because he was there with a friend who was going to physically pierce the ear in the room right then. Like, it wasn't even, can we go to Piercing Pagoda?
Right.
It was, can I be like Aaron and go in the parking lot of the, Deer Park and have somebody pierce my eyelid? No.
And then come back into the bar with blood running down my face.
Syphilis. Yeah. No, we're not doing any of these things. So I stopped all that. But it was also, I think that was maybe what had this trigger connection of, why are you I can't fucking stop you. Even if I said no, you could go, ha 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 ha, sweek. And that would be it. There's nothing. They're going to do it. They're going to do whatever the fuck they want. And I love this idea that even knowing he would get in trouble, he still fessed up to you at some point and said, yeah, he got caught. But at the same time, he's still, it's not like if he really wanted to hide it, you have a bright boy. He was very dumb in that moment because the stakes were not high enough for him to conceal this from you. So, there's something to be said that he didn't walk in with the master manipulation. Please do.
Even when the stakes are much higher, and I'm not going to rat him out for things here on a podcast, an international podcast. Sorry. I thought it was funny.
That's right. It's true. It's true.
It's
true.
National audience. Oh,
what up, Interpol? That's right. Yeah,
I'm not going to rat him out for things, but even things that he's done that are way worse than what that was, he has come to tell me about. So, So
there's this weird touch base of, on some
what
level,
does that?
On some level, it's the boat. You've built the boat. On some level, that child with the bad boyfriend knew enough to have a conversation with mom,
check in,
and to decide that even against heart and brain and pelvis wishes, to break up with boyfriend. Fuck it, because this authority figure, who is not just an authority figure, this trusted role model, this loving person in my life, told me what my brain already kind of fucking knows, but I just don't want to do it.
Well, that's it. I think that's it. It's that their brain already knows it, and how you as a parent, Stuart has said to me on many occasions, I'm glad you handled that because I would have done it very differently and it wouldn't have ended the way it ended. But I had to learn that your first reaction can't be to the moon, Alice. Like, it can't be a reaction, which it might completely deserve. It might completely deserve. I can't even give you examples because they're big.
I can jump in and help here because what I am still every day relearning and not fully accepting. It's one of these things where I know what I'm supposed to do. It's just really hard to do it. And in many cases, I try to convince myself actively, don't do that. That's wrong. I know what I'm supposed to do. And that is every reaction has to be specific to the child. I have to be a completely different parent to all three of my kids. And that means I have to set up, frankly, 3 completely different, grossly on the surface, unfair seeming constructs that they all get to see, right? How and why is this? Because if I don't, I have to manage the situation.
He's a different person. Don't ask why he, not you. He's a different person.
I have to manage the situation differently, or it'll be worse for him and for all of us. And it just doesn't. This is what we've learned through serious hard cheese. That's how it's got to go. And the only thing, we talked about this before, is it's a really long walk to fair. But in my belief, it'll all be fair in the end. It'll all balance out and level out in the long view. Right now, it's grossly unfair. And I admit, it's grossly unfair to you right now. But guess what? Last week, you got something that was grossly unfair to him. So, the giant up and down Wall Street spike job that we're on right now. Yeah, right. It's not going to be this volatile always. But yeah, you absolutely, it's learning it and learning it and learning it. And the hard part is I already know that I am continually making mistakes and needing a second chance and trying to do things and trying to learn and trying to get away with shit with and around my kids in the same way that they are with me. So it's like, like on some human level, I really empathize with how hard it is to go through this and trying to focus on the bigger picture of what do we really want here. And then on this parenting level, I have to paste over it like that Olive Garden lie. To try to get away with some shit when I can. I mean,
truly believe that he had in his pocket the phrase, I wanted to ask forgiveness instead of permission. Like, I think he had that. He heard that. It clicked like a light bulb, put it in his pocket, and finally had the opportunity to use it.
And it was
and
just
when he did that,
time.
I wanted to squeeze his face like it was an orange for juice. Like,
when you said that last week, all I could hear was you saying it to him every single day since the birth canal. And at the same time, him not getting how that phrase works. He said it at the wrong time, in the wrong way, at the wrong circumstance. It's like, no, cutie, you tried. And it was like a slap down moment. So the fact that all you said was get out of my face and the services will be held. I mean, that's...
But I want him on that boat. I don't want to have services.
Yes, you are building.
Get on the boat.
He is the boat. Yeah.
I will tell you this summer, both of my children will be counselors at an overnight camp.
It is happening.
It is happening, and it's happening in a unique way, which we are not at all aware of yet. But I am going to assume that they won't have nights off and days off. They will have to remain on campgrounds. So for 7 weeks, 8 weeks, I won't see them at all. And that's a little harder for me than I see them, I talk to them. Like that's a little harder than it's ever been any other summer.
Right.
Especially when I have a son who will be leaving me 2 weeks after that.
Yeah. And he's absolutely already in the, he's going to do what he's going to do. There's nothing... You can't make any of these decisions. You can't control it. You can't stop it. You can't even be aware if it happens.
It's a runaway freight train. And the whole thought of trusting what you've already accomplished as a parent when you don't feel like you've been a very good parent.
Right.
Trusting that boat to not have a leak, to not have... I don't want him to come home because he couldn't handle school because I wrote his essays. I don't want him to come home because he couldn't handle school because he couldn't get up for class because I didn't walk in there with a pan and a spoon and like... Jingle, jingle. I don't want him to wind up. I have to let him fly or sail. I have to let him sail. I was going to say out of my nest, but that's the fly off and see how that goes. But I'm looking forward to it because all he ever wanted to do to anyone is prove that he is capable of whatever fill-in topic here. So I'm going to push that raft out to sea.
You're very lucky. Nobody's trying to prove nothing around here. They're just trying to get the fuck away from me. And I mean, I understand.
Well, he's only an hour and a half from you. This one's going to go just over 4 hours. So it's not as easy for me to fly by and drop off meds or fly by. And like I will have an Amazon direct delivery to him, but it's not that easy to see him. And that's the reason why going to the West Coast for college would be like, okay, I guess we're done here. Mommy needs an apartment in LA. Like, I don't know what to say.
No, I mean, it's just, it's going to
hurt. I'm going to cry.
Those are all edges of the same circle. They're just very far apart from this other place that I'm talking about, which is the choices that he makes have nothing to do with you being there in any way to enforce it. And the choices,
physically, but I'm in his head.
The choices in any way to even, you have nothing to do with the choices that he's making in real time. You wrote this play and released it, and now somebody else is going to go act and direct. It's an interpretation of something that you had a lot to do with a long time ago, and you got to hope that whatever you created and instilled, the spirit of it is so strong that there's no interpretation that can really change it in a way that doesn't work. So I got into a big argument with the middle one, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. He was really struggling. We're trying to get up on time, have homework done, all these things, and they're slipping. They're not doing well. And everything that we're trying isn't really reinforcing it. And so in the heat of the moment, I said, look you know what? The only thing that I want for you is the exact same thing that you want for you. And that is for me to get the fuck out of your life. And he went, deal. So, I mean, yeah. And then the next day, on-time homework done. Like he's sort of made a connection between, I don't have any interest in talking to you about this or being involved in this or restructuring my whole fucking day and life around this or, checking up on you and sniffing after you. I want you to fucking do what you're supposed to do so I can go to bed. I mean, there's that other part too, of building the boat. The idea that now that it's been created, you go fucking do it. You know what you're supposed to do, Olive Garden. You're not going to do the right thing every time, but okay. I don't know.
Parenting is not for the weak-brained, the weak of...
I can't even figure out if I'm supposed to go to the emergency department, and now I'm supposed to raise these fucking kids up. Got problems. Got big problems.
I'm glad that slowly you are feeling better. I cannot wait to hear what they find inside your head. Both of my parents have had scans, and they're like, nope, it was empty. There's nothing there. Like, yeah. Tell me about it.
Yes.
Dear listener, thank you so much for hanging out with us for the last hour. We appreciate you and would love to hear from you. Your thoughts, brilliantobservations@gmail.com. Give us a write. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what's going on in your lives. I feel like it's so one-sided. Don't you care enough to tell us what's happening with you?
Yeah.
Your reason for hitting up the emergency room and getting laughed out of it? If you do, maybe I'll give you my husband's cell number and you can call him as your personal physician.
God, the best care ever.
We love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Catch you on the flip side. Bye.